Welcome to Mythic Battleverse, a realm where myths collide with the unknown, where gods face extraterrestrial titans, and legends are forged in the fires of chaos. Subscribe now. The battle for the multiverse begins here. The skies above Apokolips were a vision of apocalyptic fury. Torrents of flame and ash rained down as a swirling vortex of darkness coiled like a serpent above the planet. The ever-burning fire pits surged violently, their molten rivers casting the obsidian spires in a hellish glow. The air trembled with tension, as if the entire world anticipated a cataclysm. Darkseid, the ruler of this forsaken world, sat unmoved on his massive obsidian throne. His burning red eyes watched the chaos outside with quiet disdain. The screams of his parademons echoed to the throne room, but Darkseid's expression betrayed neither fear nor concern. "Something approaches," he murmured. His voice resonated with unshakable authority. Rising from his throne, his colossal frame seemed to darken the entire chamber. Prepare for annihilation. The air grew heavier, crackling with otherworldly energy as a fiery portal tore open in the throne room. From infernal glow emerged Doomsday, a monstrous juggernaut of unrelenting rage. His body was a testament to pure destruction. Jagged bone protrusions glinting menacingly in the flickering light. His glowing, blood-red eyes locked on the dark side, radiating a fury so primal it seemed to shake the very foundation of the world. Darkseid tilted his head slightly, an expression of cold amusement crossing his face. "You dare tread on Apokolips? Kneel and beg for mercy, creature, and perhaps I will grant you death swiftly." Doomsday's response was thunderous, shaking the throne room to its core. The challenge was undeniable. Darkseid's lips curled into a deadly smile. For the first time in centuries, the god of Apokolips had found a foe worthy of his wrath. Darkseid's burning omega beams erupted without warning. Twin spirals of devastating crimson energy slicing through the air with deadly precision. The beams tore through the throne room, obliterating everything in their path. Walls and columns disintegrated into molten slag, and the ground beneath their feet burned with molten fury. But Doomsday was a blur of motion, dodging the deadly beams with inhuman agility. With a feral scream, he launched himself at Darkseid, his immense frame moving with terrifying speed. The first blow landed like a meteor strike. Doomsday's fist connected with Darkseid's chest, sending shockwaves that rippled through the entire structure of the palace. The force of the impact was so immense that even Darkseid, a god, staggered backward. The throne room began to collapse around them, the once majestic chamber reduced to a battlefield of rubble and molten stone. Darkseid's expression remained unreadable, even as he regained his footing. "Is that all?" he mocked, retaliating with a thunderous punch that shattered Doomsday's jaw. The impact sent the monster hurtling through palace walls, his massive body carving a path of destruction into the wastelands beyond. Apokolips itself became their battleground as the Titans emerged from the ruins. The fiery skies raised above. The very planet seemed to cry out in anguish as its master fought for dominance. Doomsday clawed his way out of the rubble, his shattered jaw already healed, his bone protrusions sharper and deadlier than before. His growl echoed through the wasteland as he tore a massive chunk of molten debris from the ground, his monstrous strength bending the glowing rock to his will. With a roar of defiance, he hurled a projectile at Darkseid with unimaginable force. The debris exploded on impact, engulfing Darkseid in a firestorm of molten rock and ash. For a moment, the battlefield was consumed by the inferno. The heat so intense that the air itself seemed to ripple. But from the heart of the flames, Darkseid emerged, unscathed and unyielding. His gaze burned with contempt as he raised a hand, summoning the fury of Apokolips itself. The fire pit surged violently, streams of molten energy erupting into the sky before crashing down toward Doomsday in a tidal wave of destruction. Doomsday roared as the molten energy engulfed him, his massive frame glowing red-hot. For a moment, it seemed as though Darkseid's power might overwhelm him. But then, from the heart of the inferno, Doomsday's roar, his body had adapted, rendering the searing heat of Apokolips ineffective. He emerged from the flames, his body now a terrifying weapon forged in the planet's own fury. The battle descended into unrelenting savagery. Darkseid's fists, each strike capable of shattering planets, slammed into Doomsday with relentless ground beneath them cracked and groaned, the molten surface bubbling violently from the force of their blows. Yet each time Darkseid landed a devastating strike, Doomsday rose again, his body healing and adapting at a horrifying rate. Doomsday retaliated with primal ferocity, his claws slashed into Darkseid's impenetrable armor, carving deep gashes into God's flesh. Blackened blood dripped onto the molten ground, sizzling as it hit the surface. Doomsday grabbed Darkseid by the head, lifted him high before slamming him to the ground with such force that a massive fissure split the battlefield. Lava erupted from cracks, consuming the legions of parademons who dared to approach. Darkseid retaliated with a surge of Omega energy, blasting Doomsday into the sky. The monster's body collided with his sky, reducing to rubble. But even as the dust settled, Doomsday rose, stronger and more ferocious than before. Darkseid ascended into the fiery skies, his aura a maelstrom of crimson energy. From the heavens, he unleashed a relentless barrage of Omega beams, each one carving to the atmosphere and striking Doomsday with surgical precision. The ground was scarred and broken, entire regions of Apokolips reduced to ash under the god's fury. But Doomsday was unstoppable. With a deafening roar, he leapt into the sky, meeting Darkseid midair. Their collision was apocalyptic, a cataclysmic explosion of energy and fury that lit up the entire planet. They grappled in the air, their blows creating shockwaves that threatened to tear Apokolips apart. Doomsday's claws found their mark, tearing through Darkseid's shoulder, while Darkseid's fist pulverized Doomsday's ribs. As they plummeted back to the surface, Doomsday twisted mid-fall, using his momentum to drive Darkseid into the ground. The impact was catastrophic, sending molten rock flying in every direction. Doomsday's relentless assault began to reveal Darkseid's vulnerabilities. Each time Darkseid unleashed his Omega beams, Doomsday adapted, his body becoming increasingly resistant to the god's most devastating weapon. Anticipating the next attack, Doomsday lunged forward, grabbing Darkseid's arm and snapping it in a sickening grab. The god of Apokolips finally breaking. Desperation drove Darkseid to summon his parademons, seeking to overwhelm Doomsday with sheer numbers. The sky blackened as the swarm ascended, their battle cries filling the air, but Doomsday tore through them with unrelenting fury. The battlefield was littered with shattered armor and broken things as the monster's rampage continued unabated. Darkseid, battered and bloody, stood amidst the ruins of his empire. His burning gaze betrayed a flicker of desperation as he unleashed his full power of the Omega effect. A spear of annihilation engulfed Doomsday, the sheer intensity causing the fire pits of Apokolips to surge uncontrollably. The ground quaked, and the air was filled with a deafening roar of raw energy. When the smoke cleared, Doomsday stood tall. His body, now impervious to the Omega effect, radiated an even more terrifying aura. The triumphant charged Darkseid with unstoppable force. The god of Apokolips fought with every ounce of strength, but Doomsday's adaptations and unrelenting savagery were unmatched. The battle reached its climax as Doomsday's relentless assault drove Darkseid further into the ground. Each blow landed with the force of a collapsing star, breaking through God's defenses. With a final devastating strike, Doomsday drove his fist into Darkseid's chest, shattering his godly armor and sending him crashing into the planet's core. The surface of Apokolips quaked violently as Darkseid's power waned. The fire pits dimmed and his throne lay in ruins. The legions of Apokolips, once unshakable in their loyalty, scattered in the face of their master's defeat. For the first time in millennia, the god of Apokolips had fallen. As the fires of Apokolips dimmed, Doomsday stood victorious amidst the wreckage. His hulking frame was a testament to unyielding power and indomitable will. He let out a final, chilling declaration of dominance before turning and disappearing into the wastelands.